You've been taught to look away your entire life. I'll prove they're training you to stay powerless. What if I told you that every time you break eye contact first, you're surrendering energy you didn't even know you had? And what if the reason you were taught that staring is rude wasn't about manners at all? It was about control, because there's a technique, an ancient practice that cultures around the world use to transfer, absorb, and redirect energy through sustained eye contact. And they banned it, not legally, but socially, through conditioning, through etiquette, through shame. Before you think this is some mystical nonsense, let me show you something. You already know eye contact is powerful. You feel it every single day. When someone holds your gaze too long, you feel exposed, vulnerable. When you hold someone's gaze, you feel dominant, connected, or deeply uncomfortable. That's not psychology. That's energy transfer. And if you subscribe right now, I'm going to show you exactly how they trained you out of using the most powerful nonverbal tool you possess. Think about the last time someone really looked at you. Not a glance, not a polite acknowledgement, but really looked. Into your eyes, past your mask, past your performance. How did it feel? Did you hold it? Or did you retreat? Did you feel exposed? Naked? Like they could see something you weren't ready to show? That visceral reaction you had, that wasn't random. That was your defense system activating. Because somewhere deep in your unconscious programming, you know that sustained eye contact is dangerous. Not to your body, to your illusion, to the false self you've constructed to navigate society. And when someone's gaze threatens that construction, every alarm goes off. Here's what nobody tells you. In ancient traditions, warriors, shamans, mystics, they all practice sustained eye gazing, not as meditation, as combat, as healing, as a method to literally see into someone's energy field and either draw from it or completely destabilize it. The Maori haka isn't just a dance. The warriors lock eyes with their opponents, holding that gaze to psychologically dominate before physical combat even begins. Tibetan monks practice trataka, fixed gazing meditation where they stare at a candle flame or into another person's eyes for hours to develop mental control and energetic awareness. They understand what you've been trained to forget. The eyes are not just windows to the soul, they're transmission points. The Spartans taught their young warriors to hold the gaze of their enemies until the enemy looked away or charged. It was a test, a measurement of will. The soldier who could hold longest without aggression, without fear, without collapse, that was the one who would survive. Because in that moment of sustained contact, information was exchanging. Fear levels, commitment, resolve, intent, all of it transmitted through the eyes before a single blow was struck. And the warrior who could read that information accurately, who could stand in that intense exchange without flinching, held every advantage. The samurai of Japan had a similar practice called asuke, which translates to eye setting. It wasn't just about where to look during combat. It was about how to transmit killing intent through the eyes. A master samurai could freeze an opponent with his gaze alone, not through intimidation, through energetic transmission. The opponent would look into the samurai's eyes and see their own death reflected back, not as a threat, as an inevitability, as a future already written. And that knowing, transmitted through sustained eye contact, would break the opponent's will before the fight began. In Taoist traditions, they speak of eye transmission, the passing of knowledge from master to student through sustained gazing. The master would look into the student's eyes and transmit not information, but understanding. not concepts but direct experience of truth. Students would report suddenly knowing things they had never learned, understanding principles they had never studied, as if the master's decades of practice and realization downloaded directly into their consciousness through the eyes. The ancient Egyptians understood this too. In their mystery schools, initiates would practice sustained gazing as preparation for spiritual awakening. They believed the eyes were the seat of the Ka, the life force, and that through eye contact, two Kas could merge, creating a unified field of consciousness. The hieroglyphs show this: two figures facing each other, eyes locked, with a single symbol above them representing unified awareness. This wasn't romantic imagery. This was technical instruction for accessing higher states of consciousness through sustained eye contact. But here's where it gets disturbing. Around the same time they removed etymology from schools in 1946, something else shifted in Western culture. Sustained eye contact became creepy. It became aggressive. It became something only weirdos and psychopaths do. Think about it. You were taught as a child not to stare. Don't stare at strangers. Don't stare at people. It's rude. Look away. Be polite. Lower your gaze. And if you didn't comply, you got socially punished. Other kids would say, "What are you looking at?" Adults would scold you. You learn very quickly that holding someone's gaze for more than 2 or 3 seconds makes everyone uncomfortable, including you. They reinforced this in school. Teachers would say, "Eyes on your own paper. Don't look at other students. Keep your eyes to yourself." In church, they taught you to lower your eyes in reverence, in humility before authority. In business, they taught you to break eye contact periodically to seem trustworthy, to not appear aggressive or dominant. Every institution you encountered had the same message. Looking too long is wrong. Looking too deep is dangerous. Keep it brief. Keep it shallow. Keep it safe. But why? Why is something so natural, so primal, so deeply connected to human interaction suddenly taboo? Because when you can hold someone's gaze, you can read them. You can influence them. You can stand in your power without saying a single word. And a population that can do that is dangerous. They don't follow as easily. They don't submit. They see through manipulation, so they conditioned it out of you, and you didn't even notice. Listen, I know this sounds extreme, but stay with me because what I'm about to show you isn't theory. It's neuroscience. It's quantum physics. It's biology. And once you understand how eye contact actually works, you'll never look at another human being the same way again. Because your eyes aren't passive. They're not just receiving light and sending signals to your brain. They're broadcasting. They're transmitting frequency. And every time you break eye contact first, you're telling the universe, "I defer. I submit. I'm less than." You're casting that spell over yourself hundreds of times a day without even knowing it. Your eyes contain more than 130 million photoreceptor cells. Each one is capable of detecting a single photon of light. But here's what they don't teach you in biology class. Those same cells that receive light also emit light. Your retina isn't just a receptor, it's a transmitter. And the electromagnetic field generated by your brain, the same field that produces your thoughts, your emotions, your state of consciousness, that field radiates through your eyes with more intensity than almost anywhere else in your body. When you look at someone, you're not just seeing them. You're touching them with an electromagnetic frequency. Here's what's really happening. You've been socially engineered to be energetically submissive, and they did it so elegantly that you think it's just good manners. You think you're being respectful. But respect and submission are not the same thing. And once you learn the band staring technique, the one that transfers energy, dominates space, and reads people like open books, you become someone they can't control. And that's exactly why they trained you not to use it. Now let me take you back to what eye contact actually is. At the biological level, your eyes are not cameras. They're not just input devices. They're electromagnetic transmitters. Every photon of light that hits your retina doesn't just get converted into electrical signals. It creates a feedback loop. Your brain processes what you see, generates an electromagnetic field response, and that field radiates outward through your eyes. This is measurable. It's not mysticism, it's biophysics. When two people lock eyes, their brain waves start to synchronize. Princeton University studied this. They put two people in separate rooms, showed one person a flickering light, and monitored the brain activity of both. The person not seeing the light started showing the same brainwave patterns as the person who was. But it only happened if they'd made sustained eye contact beforehand. The eye contact created a quantum entanglement between their nervous systems. Once established, information transferred non-locally, without words, without proximity, just through the energetic link created by sustained gazing. They repeated this experiment with different variables. Distance didn't matter. They put participants in buildings miles apart. Once the eye contact connection was established, the synchronization persisted. They introduced barriers, walls, electromagnetic shielding. The effect remained. The only thing that broke it was intention. When one participant consciously decided to sever the connection, the brainwave synchronization stopped immediately. Think about what that means. Your intention, transmitted through eye contact, creates a measurable physical connection that transcends space, time, and physical barriers. The University of Massachusetts did another study. They had people sit across from each other and stare into each other's eyes for 10 minutes straight. No talking, no touching, just eye contact. What happened? Within minutes, participants reported feeling deeply connected to complete strangers. Some cried, some laughed. Many described it as one of the most intense experiences of their lives. But here's the crazy part. They measured the electromagnetic fields around both people, and those fields synchronized. Their heart rhythms aligned. Their breathing patterns matched. They became one energetic system through sustained eye contact alone. Follow-up studies measured cortisol levels, oxytocin levels, and dopamine levels before and after these sessions. Cortisol, the stress hormone, dropped dramatically. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, spiked higher than it does during physical touch. Dopamine levels increased comparably to falling in love. All from eye contact. No words, no physical contact, just sustained presence through the eyes. And here's the kicker. These effects lasted. Participants reported feeling more connected to humanity in general for weeks afterward. Their empathy scores increased. Their anxiety scores decreased. Their sense of isolation diminished. 10 minutes of sustained eye contact with a stranger rewired their nervous system. Now think about your daily life. How often do you hold eye contact for even 10 seconds? You don't, because you were trained not to. You were taught that 2 to 3 seconds is polite, appropriate, normal. Anything beyond that is weird, aggressive, intimate. But 2 to 3 seconds isn't enough time for energetic synchronization. It's not enough time to establish the quantum link. It's just enough time to acknowledge someone's presence and move on. which keeps you isolated, energetically disconnected, safe, controllable. The band technique I'm about to teach you requires you to override that programming. And I'm warning you now, the first time you try this, it's going to feel deeply uncomfortable. Not because it's wrong, but because you've spent your entire life avoiding it. Your nervous system has been conditioned to break contact, to look away, to submit. And when you don't, when you hold that gaze past the socially acceptable threshold, something activates in you. Something primal, something powerful, something they trained you to suppress. Your amygdala will fire. Your sympathetic nervous system will engage. You'll feel the fight or flight response kicking in, even though there's no physical threat. Why? Because your body knows what your conscious mind has forgotten. Extended eye contact is the ultimate vulnerability. It's exposure, it's intimacy, it's truth. And most people spend their entire lives running from those things. So, when you choose to stay, to hold that gaze, to remain present despite every instinct screaming at you to look away, you're reclaiming something they took from you. You're taking back your power. So let me explain what the elite know about eye contact. Go watch any video of world leaders meeting for the first time. Watch them shake hands. Watch their eyes. The one who breaks eye contact first loses. They know this. Their handlers train them on this. It's not about being polite. It's about establishing energetic dominance. The one who holds the gaze holds the frame. The one who looks away first submits, even if it's subconscious, even if it's just for a split second. That micro-submission sets the tone for the entire interaction. Watch Vladimir Putin when he meets other world leaders. He never breaks eye contact first, ever. It's not accidental. It's trained. Xi Jinping does the same. So did Margaret Thatcher. So does every leader who understands power dynamics. They maintain eye contact beyond comfort. They hold it until the other person looks away. And in that moment, dominance is established. Not through words, not through threats, through presence, through will, through the simple act of refusing to submit. Corporate executives learn this too. Negotiation experts teach sustained eye contact as a power move. Trial lawyers use it to intimidate witnesses, to establish authority, to make someone crack under pressure. Pickup artists discovered it decades ago. They call it eye contact game. Hold her gaze. Don't look away. Make her look away first. It works because it's energy transfer. The person who can hold the gaze longer has stronger energetic boundaries. The person who looks away first is leaking energy. But here's what none of them tell you. It's not about dominance. That's the surface level. The real technique, the band one, isn't about making someone submit. It's about creating an energetic circuit. It's about equalizing the flow. It's about standing in your power while allowing the other person to stand in theirs. And when both people can do that, when both people can hold sustained eye contact without dominance or submission, something else happens. Energy doesn't transfer from one to the other. It amplifies in both. You're not taking, you're not giving, you're generating. Think of it like two tuning forks. When you strike one, it vibrates at a specific frequency. If you bring another tuning fork of the same frequency close enough, it starts vibrating too. Not because you struck it, but because of resonance. The frequency transfers through the air and activates the matching frequency in the second fork. That's sympathetic resonance. Now imagine your eyes are the tuning forks, and your consciousness is the frequency. When you hold sustained eye contact with someone, you're bringing two consciousness fields close enough for resonance. If you're both open, both present, both willing, your frequencies synchronize. And in that synchronization, both vibrations amplify, and that's what they don't want you to know. Because two people in energetic resonance, fully present, fully sovereign, holding space through sustained eye contact, they can't be manipulated. They see through lies instantly. They feel incongruence immediately. They become walking lie detectors. And a population of people who can do that with each other can't be controlled through media, propaganda, or fear. They're too connected to their own intuition, too grounded in their own power. Now let me tell you about the technique itself, the one they don't want you using. It's called soft eye gazing. And it's different from staring someone down. Staring is aggressive. It's hard. It's focused on one point, usually the left eye or the bridge of the nose. Staring is about dominating. Soft eye gazing is about receiving. Instead of focusing hard on one eye, you soften your gaze. You look at both of their eyes simultaneously, almost like you're looking through them, not at them. Your peripheral vision opens up. You're not trying to intimidate. You're not trying to win. You're just present, fully, completely present, and you don't look away. Here's the technical breakdown. When you stare hard, you're engaging your foveal vision. That's the central 1 or 2 degrees of your visual field where you have maximum acuity. It's sharp. It's focused. It's analytical. But when you soften your gaze, you engage your peripheral vision. You're using the outer regions of your retina, which are more sensitive to movement, to energy, to subtle shifts. Your brain shifts from analytical processing to holistic processing. You move from left brain dominance to right brain integration. You stop thinking and start feeling. Here's what happens when you do this correctly. Within the first 5 seconds, the other person will feel it. They'll feel seen in a way most people never experience. It will make them uncomfortable because they're not used to being witnessed at that level. Most people will break eye contact immediately. They'll laugh nervously. They'll look away. They'll say something like, "Why are you staring at me?" And that's your test. Can you hold space without collapsing? Can you stay present without apologizing? Because if you break, if you look away, if you say, "Sorry, I didn't mean to," you just gave your energy away. But if you hold it, if you stay soft, open, present, something shifts. They'll look back. And when they do, when they meet you in that space, the circuit completes. You'll feel it. A tingling sensation. A warmth. A sense of connection that has nothing to do with words. You're in energetic resonance now, and from this place you can read them. Not their thoughts, but their state. You'll feel if they're anxious, confident, deceptive, genuine. You'll know without knowing how you know. The sensation is unmistakable once you've experienced it. Some people describe it as a warm pressure between their eyebrows, in the area of the third eye. Others feel it as a tingling at the base of their skull. Some experience it as a fullness in their chest, like their heart is expanding. The specific sensation varies, but the quality is consistent. Connection, presence, truth. You're no longer two separate beings exchanging glances. You're one unified field experiencing itself through two different perspectives. Ancient warriors used this before battle. They would lock eyes with their opponent and feel their fear. If the opponent looked away, the warrior knew he'd already won. The fight was over before it started. If the opponent held the gaze, the warrior knew he was facing someone grounded, someone dangerous, someone worth respecting. Healers use this, too. Shamans, energy workers. They gaze into your eyes and read your field. They see where you're blocked, where you're leaking energy, where you're holding trauma, and if they're skilled, they can move energy through that gaze. They can transmit healing frequency without touching you. In indigenous healing traditions, this is standard practice. The curanderos of South America will hold your gaze for extended periods during ceremony. They're not just looking at you. They're looking into your luminous energy body. They're seeing the patterns, the blockages, the wounds that exist beyond the physical. And through their gaze, through their presence, through their intention, they can shift those patterns, not with force, with resonance. They hold a frequency of wholeness, of integration, of health, and when your field resonates with that frequency through sustained eye contact, you entrain to it. You begin to reorganize around the pattern they're holding. You've felt this before and didn't know what it was. Someone looked at you and you felt unsafe, not because they did anything, just because their gaze carried aggression. Or someone looked at you and you felt seen, held, loved. Again, no words, just presence transmitted through the eyes. That's energy transfer, and you're doing it all the time. The question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? Most people are unconscious. They're leaking energy through their eyes without knowing it. They're absorbing other people's energy without consent. They're getting drained in conversations and don't understand why. Because nobody taught them how to manage the energetic exchange that happens through eye contact. They just taught you to look away, to be polite, to stay small. Here's what happens when you're unconscious. You meet someone and they're in a bad mood. You make eye contact and suddenly you feel heavy, drained, like their emotional state just jumped into your body. That's because it did. Through the eye contact, through the openness of your field, their frequency transmitted to you and your system absorbed it. You weren't boundaried, you weren't aware, you were just being polite, making eye contact like you were taught, and now you're carrying someone else's emotional baggage. Or you're in a good mood and you talk to someone who seems normal, but after the conversation, you feel exhausted. What happened? Energy vampire. They were unconsciously feeding on your field through sustained eye contact. They looked at you with need, with hunger, with unconscious demand, and your field responded by giving, not because you chose to, but because you weren't aware enough to maintain boundaries during the exchange. Here's the part that's going to make you uncomfortable. They trained women especially to avoid sustained eye contact. Be demure. Don't stare. Don't make men uncomfortable. Lower your gaze. Smile and look away. That's femininity. That's being agreeable. But what's really happening? You're being trained to energetically submit, to defer, to make yourself smaller so others feel bigger. And if you're a woman watching this and you've ever felt drained after social interactions, it's because you're giving your energy away through unconscious eye contact patterns. You're looking away first. You're softening your gaze in submission, not presence. You're collapsing your field to make others comfortable. Watch any old film from the 1940s or 1950s. Watch how women were directed to lower their eyes when men spoke to them, to glance up demurely, then look away, to never hold sustained eye contact unless expressing adoration or submission. This wasn't just about acting. This was social programming being reinforced through media. Young women watching these films learned that this is how femininity looks. This is how to be attractive, desirable, acceptable. Look down, look away, defer, submit. Men get trained too. Don't stare at women, that's creepy. Don't hold eye contact too long, that's aggressive. Be safe, be non-threatening, look away. So now you have an entire generation of men who can't hold a woman's gaze without feeling like they're doing something wrong. and women who can't receive a man's gaze without feeling objectified or unsafe. Nobody can connect. Everyone's walking around energetically isolated, trained to break contact, trained to stay separate. The result? Epidemic levels of loneliness. People craving connection, but unable to establish it. Dating apps where people swipe through hundreds of faces but can't hold eye contact with one person. Relationships that stay surface level because neither person can sustain the intimacy of sustained presence. Friendships that feel hollow because no one is really seeing anyone. Everyone's performing, everyone's hiding, everyone's looking away. But when you learn soft eye gazing, when you practice it consciously, you take your power back. You stop leaking. You stop absorbing. You create boundaries through presence, not walls. And you can finally connect with another human being at the level you've been craving your whole life. Now let me show you why this was banned. Not through laws, through culture. In the 1950s, the same era they removed etymology from schools, Western etiquette became obsessed with personal space, appropriate behavior, and social decorum. Emily Post's etiquette guides became bestsellers. Everyone wanted to know the rules, how to be proper, how to be accepted. And one of the rules was this: don't stare. Staring is rude. Glance, acknowledge, look away. That's polite society. These etiquette guides were marketed as the key to social success. If you wanted to climb the corporate ladder, marry well, be accepted in the right circles, you had to follow the rules. And the rules were very clear about eye contact. Brief is polite. Extended is aggressive. Looking away shows respect. Holding too long shows dominance, or worse, inappropriate interest. An entire social framework was constructed around limiting eye contact, and everyone followed it because everyone wanted to fit in, to succeed, to be accepted. But look at indigenous cultures. Look at tribes that haven't been colonized by Western etiquette. They hold eye contact. Elders gaze into children's eyes to transmit wisdom. Lovers gaze into each other's eyes for hours as a spiritual practice. Warriors lock eyes to test each other's resolve. It's not rude. It's not creepy. It's connection. It's communication. It's energy work. In many African tribes, extended eye contact between elder and child is how knowledge transfers. Not just information, wisdom. The elder holds the child's gaze and something transmits that goes beyond words. The child can feel the depth of the elder's experience, their groundedness, their presence. It's education through energetic transmission. No books needed, no lectures, just presence, sustained through the eyes, allowing wisdom to flow from one generation to the next. Western culture severed that. They called it primitive, uncivilized. They replaced it with polite distance, and in doing so, they disconnected you from one of the most powerful tools you have: your ability to see and be seen. Your ability to transmit and receive energy through the eyes. They made you afraid of your own power, and you didn't even realize it was happening. Now here's the science they don't talk about. Your eyes emit biophotons. These are particles of light generated by your cells. Every living thing emits them, and your eyes emit more than almost any other part of your body. When you look at someone, you're not just reflecting light, you're emitting it. You're literally sending photons from your eyes into theirs, and they're sending photons back. This creates a feedback loop, a circuit, an energetic exchange. Dr. Fritz Albert Popp studied biophotons for decades. He discovered that these light emissions are coherent, meaning they're organized, structured, not random. They carry information. When two people make eye contact, their biophoton emissions synchronize. They're literally exchanging light. And light carries frequency. Frequency carries information. Information affects consciousness. This is why sustained eye contact feels so intense. You're not just looking at someone, you're merging fields. Pop's research went further. He measured biophoton emissions from people in different emotional states: fear, love, anger, peace. Each state produced a distinct biophoton signature, different coherence patterns, different frequencies, different information encoded in the light. And when two people made eye contact, when their biophoton fields interacted, the information transferred. If one person was holding fear and the other was holding peace, the fields would either clash, creating discomfort and causing one person to look away, or they would negotiate, with one frequency influencing the other until they reached a middle ground, or one completely entrained to the other. But most people can't handle that level of intimacy. Not sexual intimacy, energetic intimacy, being fully seen, being fully present. It triggers every insecurity, every defense mechanism, every wound you've been hiding. That's why people look away. It's not about manners, it's about protection. They're protecting their fragile identity from being witnessed. And you do it too. Every time you break eye contact first, you're saying, I'm not ready to be seen. I'm not safe enough. I'm not strong enough. And your nervous system believes you. It reinforces the pattern. You become someone who can't hold space, someone who defers, someone who submits, not because you're weak, but because you've been trained. So here's how you break the conditioning. You practice. Start with yourself. Sit in front of a mirror and gaze into your own eyes, not at them, into them. Like you're looking at your soul. This is going to be harder than you think. You're going to want to look away. You're going to feel ridiculous. You're going to notice every flaw, every insecurity. Your inner critic is going to scream. But you stay. You hold your own gaze. 5 minutes. Every day. The first time you do this, you probably won't make it past 30 seconds. Your eyes will water. Your vision will blur. You'll feel uncomfortable, exposed, vulnerable. Every impulse in your body will be screaming at you to look away. Do not look away. Blink if you need to. Let the tears fall if they come. But keep your gaze steady. Keep looking into your own eyes. What you're experiencing is your defense system activating. Your ego doesn't want to be seen, even by you. Especially by you, because you know all the secrets, you know all the shame, you know all the things you've been hiding from the world. And here's what will happen as you continue. Week 1, you'll notice your thoughts, the constant stream of judgment and criticism. You're not attractive enough, you're getting old, you look tired, your eyes are too close together, too far apart, the wrong color. Your inner critic will have a field day. Let it talk. Don't engage. Just keep looking. Just keep witnessing. You're learning that you are not your thoughts. You're the awareness watching the thoughts. And that distinction is crucial for what comes next. Week 2, the judgments will start to quiet. You'll notice details you've never seen before. The unique pattern of your iris, the subtle movements of your pupil, the way light reflects differently from each eye. You're moving past the surface. You're starting to see yourself not as an object to be evaluated, but as a being to be witnessed. This is where the healing begins, because most people spend their entire lives looking at themselves through the lens of judgment. Am I acceptable? Am I attractive? Am I enough? And that lens prevents you from actually seeing yourself, from actually knowing yourself. Week 3, you might start to see different versions of yourself in the mirror. Your child self, your future self, versions of you from other timelines, other possibilities. This isn't psychosis. This is your consciousness expanding beyond the narrow identity you've constructed. You're remembering that you're not just this person, this body, this story. You're a multidimensional being having a human experience, and the eyes, when gazed into long enough, reveal that truth. Week 4 and beyond, the mirror becomes a portal. You're not looking at yourself anymore. You're communing with yourself, with your higher self, with the eternal aspect of you that exists beyond time and space. And from that communion comes wisdom, guidance, clarity. Questions you've been struggling with suddenly have answers, not from thinking, from knowing, from direct experience with the deepest part of yourself accessed through your own eyes. What this does is, it stabilizes your energetic field. You're learning to witness yourself without judgment. You're learning to be present with your own discomfort. And when you can do that with yourself, you can do it with others. Because the reason you can't hold someone else's gaze is because you can't hold your own. You're afraid of what you'll see. You're afraid of being seen. The mirror practice removes that fear. Once you can hold your own gaze for 5 minutes without breaking, you're ready for phase 2. Practice with strangers in low-stakes environments, cashiers, baristas, people you'll never see again. When they hand you your change, hold their gaze an extra 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds longer than feels comfortable. Don't smile excessively. Don't fill the space with words. Just be present. Watch what happens. Most will look away immediately. Some will hold it and you'll feel the connection. A few will get uncomfortable and say something. That's okay. You're reconditioning your nervous system. You're teaching it that sustained eye contact is safe. Phase 3 is where it gets real. Practice with people you know. Friends, family, colleagues. During conversation, instead of looking away when you're thinking or listening, stay present. Hold their gaze. Not hard, not aggressive, soft, open, curious. You'll notice they start talking differently. They get more honest, more vulnerable, because your presence is giving them permission to be real. You're not judging. You're not waiting for your turn to talk. You're just there, fully, and that's so rare that it disarms people completely. You'll notice something else. People will tell you things they've never told anyone. Deep secrets, hidden fears, long-held dreams. They won't plan to. They won't even understand why they're sharing. But your sustained presence creates such a safe container that their authentic self emerges. The masks fall away. The performance stops. And what's underneath, what's real, comes forward. This is the power of conscious eye contact. You're not doing anything to them. You're simply being present enough that they feel safe to be present too. Phase 4 is the advanced technique. Sustained mutual gazing with a partner. Sit across from someone, knees touching. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Gaze into each other's eyes without speaking. No laughing, no looking away. Just presence. This will bring up everything. Fear, shame, love, grief, anger. Let it. Don't break. Breathe through it. Stay soft. By the end of 10 minutes, you'll either feel deeply connected or you'll know this person isn't safe for you. Because sustained eye contact reveals truth. You can't fake presence. You can't perform intimacy. You either show up or you don't. Here's what typically happens during those 10 minutes. The first 2 minutes are awkward. You'll want to laugh. You'll feel self-conscious. Your mind will race with judgments and observations. Let it. Stay present. Minutes 3 through 5. Something shifts. The awkwardness fades. You start to see the person, not just their face. You notice things. The flecks of color in their iris, the way their pupil dilates and contracts, the subtle movements of their eyes. You're moving deeper. Minutes 6 through 8, this is where the magic happens. The face in front of you starts to shift, not literally, but perceptually. You might see them as a child, you might see them as ancient, you might see different expressions flash across their features. This isn't hallucination, this is your intuition showing you their essence, their history, their soul. You're seeing beyond the mask into what's real. Stay with it. Don't judge what you see, just witness. Minutes 9 and 10. If you're both still present, you'll feel the merge. The boundary between you and them becomes unclear. You're not sure where you end and they begin. You might feel their emotions in your body. They might feel yours. This is the quantum entanglement fully activated. This is energetic resonance at its peak. And when the timer goes off, when you finally break that gaze, the world will look different. You'll look different. They'll look different. Because you've just experienced true intimacy, true connection, true presence. And here's what happens when you master this. You become unshakable. People can't manipulate you because you see through their performance. You read their energy before they open their mouth. Liars can't hold your gaze. Manipulators deflect. Genuine people meet you and the connection is instant. You start attracting different people into your life, not because you changed your personality, because you changed your frequency, and frequency is transmitted through the eyes. Now let me tell you what the elites do with this information. They use it as a weapon. Politicians are trained in power gazing. Hold the camera, hold the audience, project confidence, project authority, make people feel seen so they trust you. But it's empty. It's technique without presence. It's manipulation. And if you've ever watched a politician speak and felt uneasy even though their words sounded good, that's why. Your intuition reads the incongruence. Their eyes are projecting one thing. Their energy is transmitting another. Watch political debates. Watch how candidates use eye contact strategically. They'll hold the camera, connecting with viewers at home, making each person feel personally addressed. But it's calculated, timed, performed. There's no real presence behind it. It's a technique learned in media training. Look at camera 1 for 3 seconds, camera 2 for 3 seconds, back to camera 1. Make it seem natural, make it seem authentic, but there's nothing authentic about it. And somewhere in your body you know it. You feel the emptiness, the performance, the lie. Corporate leaders do the same. They're taught to maintain eye contact during negotiations to establish dominance, to make the other person blink first, to control the frame. And it works on people who haven't reclaimed their power. But when you've mastered soft eye gazing, when you're grounded in your own field, their tactics don't land. You hold space without collapsing. You don't submit, you don't dominate, you just are. And that neutralizes their game completely. Pickup artists teach eye contact as a seduction tool. Hold her gaze, make her feel seen, create intensity. It works because most people are starving for real connection. But again, it's manipulation. It's using presence as a tactic to get something. And women feel it. They might not consciously know what's happening, but their body knows. That's why it feels icky even when the technique is executed perfectly. Because there's no real presence behind it. It's performance. The pickup artist is holding eye contact with an agenda. Get her interested. Get her attracted. Get her to comply. That agenda transmits through the eyes along with the gaze. and a woman's nervous system, which is naturally more attuned to subtle energetic signals, picks up on it immediately. She might not be able to articulate what feels off. She might even respond to the technique on a surface level. But deeper down, her body knows. This isn't real presence. This is manipulation. And that knowing creates discomfort, unease, a desire to get away even if the words and actions seem appropriate. The difference between manipulation and mastery is intention. Are you holding someone's gaze to take from them or to meet them? Are you trying to dominate or to equalize? The technique looks the same from the outside, but the frequency is completely different, and people feel it even if they can't articulate it. Your eyes broadcast your intention. You can't hide it. Not from someone who's trained to read energy. So here's what changes when you reclaim this power. First, you stop getting drained by people. Energy vampires lose their grip on you because you're not unconsciously giving your energy away. You're present. You're boundaried. They can't hook into you. Second, you start seeing through lies immediately. People can control their words. They can control their face, but they can't control their eyes. Not fully. When someone is lying, their eye movement changes. Their gaze shifts. Their biophoton emissions become incoherent. You'll feel it before you can name it. Third, you become magnetic, not because you're trying to attract people, but because presence is rare. Most people are walking around half asleep, distracted, performing, hiding. When you're fully present, when you can hold space without agenda, people feel safe around you. They open up, they trust you, they want to be near you. Not because you're doing anything, because you're being someone. Think about the last time you were around someone who was truly present, someone who listened without planning their response, someone who looked at you without judgment, and someone who held space without trying to fix you or change you or get something from you. How did it feel? Rare, right? Maybe you've never experienced it, maybe you've only felt it once or twice in your entire life. That's because real presence is almost extinct in modern culture. Everyone's distracted. Everyone's performing. Everyone's stuck in their head. So when you show up fully present, when you offer that gift of conscious attention through sustained eye contact, you become unforgettable. People will remember you, not what you said, not what you wore, not what you did, but how you made them feel. And what you make them feel through sustained conscious eye contact is seen, witnessed, valued, held. That's the deepest human need. Not to be praised, not to be validated, but to be seen, actually seen, without judgment, without agenda, without the other person trying to use you for something. Pure witnessing, pure presence. And when you give that gift, you become someone people never forget. Fourth, your intuition sharpens. You start knowing things without knowing how. You meet someone and you just know they're trustworthy, or they're not. You walk into a room and you feel the energy before anyone speaks. You're not psychic, you're just present. You're reading the field through your eyes, and the more you practice, the clearer it gets. Your body is always reading energetic information. The hair on your arm stands up when you sense danger. Your gut tightens when something feels wrong. Your chest expands when you're around someone genuine. These aren't random sensations. They're your nervous system processing energetic data and translating it into physical sensation so your conscious mind can access it. But most people ignore these signals. They override their intuition with logic. They talk themselves out of what they're feeling because they can't explain it rationally. When you practice sustained eye contact, you're training yourself to trust those signals, to honor the information your body is giving you. because the eyes are the most concentrated receptor site for energetic information. When you look at someone with full presence, your entire nervous system is gathering data. Pupil dilation, microexpressions, breathing patterns, muscle tension, skin flush. And beyond the physical, the energetic, their field signature, their emotional state, their level of consciousness. All of it available in real time if you're present enough to receive it. Fifth, you stop caring what people think. Because when you've sat with yourself in the mirror for hundreds of hours, when you've witnessed your own shadow without flinching, other people's opinions lose their power. You've already seen the worst of yourself and stayed. You've already met your own darkness and integrated it. So when someone judges you, it doesn't land. You're not defending. You're not explaining. You're just present. And that's the most powerful place you can operate from. Now let me tell you the biggest secret of all. The reason they really banned this technique. It's not just about personal power. It's about collective awakening. When two people hold sustained eye contact, they don't just synchronize with each other. They synchronize with the field, the quantum field, the unified consciousness that connects all living things. And when you're connected to that, you can't be lied to. You can't be controlled. You can't be scared into submission. Because you know at a cellular level that you're not separate. You're part of something infinite. That's what they're afraid of. Not that you'll become powerful, but that you'll remember you already are. That you'll stop looking to external authority for validation. That you'll start trusting your own direct experience. That you'll connect with other sovereign beings and realize you don't need them. You don't need the systems, you don't need the propaganda, you don't need the fear, you just need presence. And presence is free. It can't be taxed. It can't be regulated. It can't be controlled. Imagine a society where everyone practiced sustained eye contact, where children were taught to hold space through their gaze, where friends sat together in silence, eyes locked, transmitting presence, where couples gazed at each other daily, maintaining energetic resonance, where business was conducted with full presence, making deception impossible, where political leaders couldn't lie because every constituent could read their field. That society would be ungovernable by the current systems, not because it would be chaotic, because it would be too conscious, too connected, too awake. Think about what changes when everyone in a community can read each other's true state through eye contact. Politicians can't make false promises because their constituents feel the lie the moment they make eye contact. Advertisers can't manipulate because consumers see through the performance immediately. News anchors can't propagandize because viewers feel the incongruence between their words and their energy. Teachers connect with students at a level that makes learning effortless because understanding transmits directly through presence. Doctors diagnose not just with tests but with the information their patients' eyes reveal about their energetic state. This isn't fantasy. This is how humans lived for thousands of years before the Industrial Revolution, before screens, before the cultural programming that taught you to look away. Indigenous communities still operate this way. Elders can look at a child and know exactly what that child needs. Not through words, through presence, through the information transmitted when two souls meet through the eyes. This is your birthright. This is the capacity you were born with. And they trained it out of you systematically, deliberately, completely. So they trained you to look away, to stay distracted, to keep your eyes on screens instead of faces, to scroll instead of connect, to text instead of gaze. And you went along with it because you didn't know what you were giving up, but now you do. Let me show you exactly what you gave up. In 2007, the iPhone was released. Within 5 years, the average person was spending 4 hours a day looking at screens. Now it's over 7 hours. 7 hours a day with your eyes on glass instead of on people. 7 hours a day with your gaze directed at pixels instead of souls. Do you understand what that's doing to your nervous system? To your ability to connect? To your energetic field? When you look at a screen, your eyes are receiving light. They're processing information, but there's no exchange. The screen doesn't look back. It doesn't transmit. It doesn't respond to your energy. It's a one-way interaction. You give attention. You get stimulation. But there's no circuit, no resonance, no actual connection. Your nervous system knows this. That's why you can scroll for hours and still feel empty, still feel lonely, still feel disconnected. Because you are. You're engaging in pseudo-connection. The appearance of interaction without the substance of actual presence. Compare that to eye contact with a living being. When you look at a person, they look back. Their field responds to yours. Your nervous systems communicate. Energy exchanges. Information transmits. Even if no words are spoken, something real is happening. Your body knows the difference between real connection and simulated connection. That's why social media makes you feel more isolated the more you use it. Because it's training you to accept simulation as reality, to accept pseudo-presence as actual connection. And here's the insidious part. The more time you spend on screens, the less capable you become of sustaining real eye contact. Your attention span shrinks. Your comfort with sustained presence diminishes. Your tolerance for the intensity of real human connection decreases. You become addicted to the shallow, quick-hit dopamine of likes and comments and shares. And when someone tries to really see you, really connect with you through sustained eye contact, it feels overwhelming, too intense, too much. So you look away, you retreat back to your screen, back to the comfort of pseudo-connection, and the cycle deepens. This is your invitation. Look up. Look at people. Hold space. Be present. Practice soft eye gazing every single day. Start with the mirror, then strangers, then people you know. Then find someone brave enough to sit with you for 10 minutes in mutual sustained gaze, and watch your entire reality shift. Because when you change how you see, you change what you see. And when you change what you see, you change who you are. And when you change who you are, you change the world.